Greetings, greetings, greetings. Today is Friday, Venus Day, my favorite day of the week, as you all may have known. And today we're going to cover the goddess Medusa. I promised you guys a video of the next goddess we did because I know months ago I've covered Kali Ma. And I'm way overdue of going over the next one, but we're just gonna roll right into it. And ain't no use in crying over spilled milks, but I really owe you guys this one. So okay, I Friday out of the month, each month I will go over a goddess from various cultures. And today we have the African goddess, the real deal Medusa. Okay. She was actually a serpent goddess before, the Greeks took over and brought it to their belief system of what Medusa represented to them. You may have heard the story, of her being a gorgon, how you pronounce it. And she was a priestess of Athena. But in this story, she was a serpent goddess. Also, before Athena, just like Athena, she was in control of the waters, ships, and things of that nature. But anyway, she wore a pouch around her waist which contained snakes, and her snakes represents like growth and renewal and wisdom around her. And she carried the original Gorgon mask to frighten off, she would frighten people off, like who were uninformed of the area, or they just really didn't have no business, to scare off unwanted visitors in the land that she lived in. I think she lived in like Northern Africa, I believe. Well, yeah, she was an Egyptian goddess. But yeah, she would frighten off the unskilled people or people who were just unknowledgeable of the area. Like, okay, what are you doing around here? You obviously don't belong right around here, on that type stuff. Where she would use on the mask she wore. Like, okay, in the Greek culture, she's known to turn men to stone because she had a face so hideous because she was cast out by Athena to live on an island by herself. I know you heard that version. On this version, she actually wears a mask purposely to scare off people. Okay. And on the mask, it would have like glaring eyes, baring teeth, like just like fang, like menstrual blood. It just hideous. So you just like, okay, I don't want to go near her. What type of ish she got going on? It was purposely, and so I guess the Greeks interpreted into their own thing. Also, the whole snake thing. Lady wore locks, flowing locks, and she like mine, flowing locks. So the whole snake thing, that was the totally different in this story. She just had long flowing locks of hair. Also in the story, it said that she was also, her name represented, it was actually the Egyptian word Maya. Her name meant truth. And which also to this day, it gives us the words that come from the mathematics. And it was also Sanskrit for wisdom. So go figure. Medusa means truth. Okay. But yeah, I really like her in this because I feel like she's very misunderstood in the culture of the Greeks, especially. She was supposed to be, they painted her as the villain, if you know the original story. Well, their version. She was tracked down. She was basically used as bait, as get back. She was the vessel though, in order to let's rewind it. I'm gonna start from the beginning. So Medusa in the Greek version too, because I'm gonna explain both versions. I just explained you guys the African version. Okay, so the Greek, she was supposed to have been studying under the goddess Athena, as you all know, and she was studying as a priestess. So if you're studying, following under Athena's and studying her temple, then you know you're supposed to remain chaste. How you say that word? I don't know. But you're not supposed to be having any type of sexual contact with others. So any men come in your life, that's off limits, off the tables. That's the no-no. So Poseidon, the god Poseidon, and the goddess Athena, they had this long beef or whatever. So Poseidon, he's not letting Ish go. He's like, okay, I know a way to get back at her. So Athena, she was like was one of Athena's. I said Athena. I can't get my words out. Medusa, she was one of Athena's most promising students. She was taken off, and she took it seriously. Her vows to remain celibate and everything. So, one day, Poseidon was like, okay, I'm going to get her. All these men make their advances towards Medusa, turn them down. They're like, no, this is my place. I belong here. I've devoted my whole entire life to this under priestessship. And she was getting a rep in the temple. That her rep was, a lot of people was coming to see her rather than coming to worship Athena. And Athena, she had a jealous streak. She's supposed to be the goddess of beauty and all that. So she's like, oh, I'm about to shut this down. Poseidon comes along. He's none other than one of the other guys to make his energies on her. So she flees from him, his attack of his attempts at getting at her. And he was like, okay, what other you led me to no better spot than her temple. What more way to get at you? So, he stripped her of her vows to remain celibate. Forced himself on her right in the temple. So not only did he strip her of her purity, he did it within the temple. What better place than to tarnish the temple's name? What better way than to do that, to tarnish the reputation that Athena's temple had? It was supposed to be a place of purity, just to tarnish it right there at the very spot. Medusa ran for Athena's aid. That's where the first place she went to a temple. Like, she's studying under this person, so she felt like, okay, I can come to you for anything. What was supposed to be, a cry for help or rescue, that's where it all happened. So she was exiled from the land into I can't remember the place she went. My mind is fuzzy. It's late, but I promised I was going to get a story out. She was sent to an island, actually, by herself. And people were sent to kill her along the way. And so not only was she sent to live alone, she was just exiled. She was also forced to her new identity. Any person that she looked at, they turned to stone. So yeah, and she just became this hideous person to look at. She turned to them. They just froze with fright and just turned to literal stone. So one day, I need to get my story straight. I want to say it was Perseus that came along. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say it was Perseus that came along and beheaded her, because everybody had made their attempts coming to the island to no use. You know, they all turned to stone, but it was one person that caught her off guard, and I want to say the guy was Perseus. Beheaded her and took her heads back to Athena's temple as this is what I done, you know, as an accolade almost, as you know what I did. Nobody else could do it, but hey, I'm the one that was able to behead her. So that's the story, both versions. I might do a part 2 to it because I feel like my mind was kind of fuzzy tonight. I didn't really get to explain it how I wanted to. I said Medusa, Goddess Medusa part 2. I ain't even gonna lie, y'all. I was almost iffy on doing this one because I was like, you know, in the Greek version, she's not really considered, she's not considered. She was just studying under a goddess, Athena. She was considered, under her apprenticeship. So I was like, eh. But in the African version, she was a goddess. So I'm like, forget it. We're going to use her. So it just depends on what story that you're used to. But, and, you know, I always grew up knowing the Greek version. I later on in life, in my adult years, learned of the African version. I thought that was so cool. But I just felt like she was very misunderstood. And she was a victim, you know, but she was the one exiled. How does that work, you know? And the reason why I chose to do her, because her story is still relevant today. You know, there's so many victims. This is why people are afraid to speak out, you know, on what happened to them, tell their story. It's so many people that this happened to, unfortunately, that this happens to every day. But nobody believes them when they come to tell the truth, or it's just, or they're gaslight, they're blamed like it's their fault. Oh, you shouldn't have came out with with this on, you know, or you wanted this, you know. It's crazy. I done heard a lot of things at different various people. It's crazy out here. The story is still relevant today, I feel like. So that's why I wanted to do her, because she was just a misunderstood person. You know, she just wanted to be her best self, live her best life. And she had that taken away from her and punished in the end. Ain't that some stuff? I hope you guys enjoyed the story. I'm kind of sleepy. I'm not going to lie. But maybe we'll do, I'm going to do a part. I am going to do a part 2, actually. So, yeah. Thank you guys once again for tuning in to Goddess and Tarot. This is our story for the month, Medusa. We're just going to expand on it a little more. And I said I was going to do a part 2 on Kalima, so we're going to get around to that. I don't know, maybe next month. But yeah, night.